kick it. Let's just kick it, you know what I'm saying? There's bees all over the place tonight at night. These bees are just kicking it. Let's just kick it. Let's just kick it. Let's just kick it. Let's just kick it. Hey JP, how you doing? How you feeling tonight? Can you hear these insects singing? It's really dark tonight. I like the sound of it, do you? Oh, you're doing well. Good. Good for you. Good. I was inside watching TV and I thought I'll just come out here. It's a lot cooler tonight. It hasn't been this cool in a while. Been fooling around with these bees a lot. I give these bees a lot of honey. It makes their life so easier and I like watching them. They're just all over the place. They don't bother you. It's fun just having like thousands of bees swarming around you. It's like everybody thinks it's crazy, but if you knew about them and you dealt with them, it's really kind of a cool experience. Oh, do you? North of Atlanta? Well, I lived up in Woodstock for a while. 192 Eagle Court, about 40 years ago. Yeah, it's nice tonight, isn't it? But we've had some brutal heat, haven't we? You ever get down here around Crawfordville? You ever go over to Athens? Yeah, that mill though, that's in Sparta, Georgia. That's south of here, southwest. Oh, years ago. Oh, yeah, that one where, if you said the name of it, they tore it down. They used to have that big Christmas display, Lindemer or something like that. Yeah, Lindeman Mall or something like that. Lindale, yeah, Lindale, yep. Yeah, I remember that. That guy charged me $40 to go in there, but it was worth it. It's nice not to be in a abandoned building and be worried about somebody calling the cops on you. Yeah, I looked at that place not too long ago. It's basically been all torn down. Yeah, it's this beautiful building. You know, we had the same thing. My buddy bought one similar to that. And believe it or not, they're deconstructing the old part. And now this is this is a gross estimate of $2 million worth of heart pine that was used to construct it. They're taking it all apart, and that's actually what I'm going to use on the interior of my home. All this heart pine, which costs a fortune. But that was very common during those old textile mills to use heart pine for the beams, and they used it a lot for the flooring as well. Hey, Alethea, how you feeling? Oh yeah, I remember going through there. That was just on my way back from, geez, I don't remember where. Maybe here. Yeah, I had a good time there. Oh, that's cool. Hey, Lemmy. Oh, yes, yeah, I believe that, Lemmy. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it should be, yeah. Oh, good, yeah, good. That's cool. Yeah, I love these old buildings. My buddy owns a bunch of that stuff. You don't really realize how, okay, it must have just taken forever to build these places. The reason they use heart pines, it was old and it was very stable, and you could use long boards to support lots of weight. And the rich people pay like crazy money for it. Yeah, kind of interesting. I've been thinking about getting into custom lumber. You know, cypress and stuff like that. Just going and buying it places and bringing it back, getting it milled, selling it. It'd just be fun. Hey, how you doing, Lightspeed? Just partying out here on a coolest night we've had in a while. JP, you see a lot of airplanes coming in from the west and the north over your house, heading to Hartsfield? Hey, Rita, how you doing? Oh yeah, homeless. It's interesting. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, don't talk to them about drugs or they'll blackball you. You won't get any views. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's nice. Did you grow up in Georgia then? Oh, that's cool, Rita. Is it heart pine or regular pine? Do you know? Heart pine's got the rings. It's got to be about 110 years old. Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, it didn't need to be that, but it's available, so I'm going to use it. I think I might do the floors out of cypress. Oh, cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, 55. Oh, yeah, cool. I'm getting a metal roof, too. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's what I have in my bedroom. That's what this whole house is, I think, what you're talking about. Even that's gotten kind of expensive. What's that, light speed? Oh, UFO. Yeah, I don't believe in UFOs. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, okay, Lemmy. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're probably throttling back. Yeah, descending. If you're that far north of Atlanta, probably around 25,000 feet, 40 miles north. Yeah, don't they sound good? They really do. It's like this all the time. Yeah, it really sounds good. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, all right. Cool. Good for you. I mean, I've flown a lot at nighttime, airplanes in the night, and it's crazy what light can do under certain circumstances, especially when there's like low clouds. And it's just weird how your brain interprets what it sees and it's false sometimes. Yep. I remember one time right after I got my license, I was about 40 miles away from Detroit. And I used to like flying late at night. And I thought I'd go do a touch and go at Detroit Airport, because it wasn't very busy. And I went down there and I was talking to the controller, and there was a 747 from someplace coming in there. And it's like it was a really crystal clear night. So as we got closer and closer, they cleared me to land, and I see this 747 that looks like huge with these lights on. And I finally said something. And I said, "Hey, are you sure that, I'm not too close? I was just a new pilot to this. You don't see planes like that, flying little planes. You're never that close. I was just going there because it was night and I knew it wasn't busy and they wouldn't have a problem with it." And the 747 captain came on. They were from Amsterdam. And he said he was 36 miles out. That's how big that thing looked to me on a clear night. And the controller kind of laughed. He said, "No, you're fine. Just do a touch and go." And then gave me instructions. Sure enough, it was like a while later before that 747 landed. But I can remember thinking it was like too close. It was going to run into me. It scared me. Oh, okay, like. Yeah, it just shows you how, inexperienced. I never saw like a plane. To me, it looked like it was like really close, and they've got all those huge lights on the wing. Another time I was flying at night, and I'm flying by myself, beautiful summer night, and I see this weird light in the distance. And I'm looking. I turn a little left, turn a little right. Still like a bright light. It's like, what in the hell is that? It just didn't make sense that there was a light that bright in that area. And I just keep flying. I finally get up to it. It's a reflection off a shopping cart at a supermarket. Just the way the light was hitting it. It's weird. Hey, John boy, how you doing? So it can definitely do weird things. Same with clouds. You don't realize how high they are. you're flying around like 3, 4, 5,000 feet when you're learning to fly. And then you get your license and you see these big, beautiful clouds, and it's like, wow, man. I want to go up and take a look at those. And they look like they're high, but they don't look like crazy high. So you call flight service and ask them what the tops are of these clouds where you're at. They tell me like 23,000 feet. There's no way in hell I was flying in one of those little planes up to 23,000 feet. Take you forever, and you just couldn't do it. Hey, Jeff. Another time I was flying, and you see these huge thunder and lightning storms, giant, way billowing way up super high in the sky. And you're thinking, God, man, these things look so huge, and you're kind of flying towards them. And, they're huge storms, like maybe you see once every 2 years, and you're heading that way. You're not going to fly into it, but you keep looking. Finally, I called flight service. It's like, hey, I'm flying east, and I see these thunderstorms out in the distance, and I was just wondering how far they are. And the flight service guy comes back to me and says they're 81 miles and the tops are 54,000 feet. But they look close to me, Shit, 81 miles is a long way. 54,000 feet. I mean, jets don't even fly that high, most jets. So it shows you how you can get like deceived from distances and heights when you're in the air, because you just haven't had enough. So you don't have anything to compare it to, like something that your eye recognizes. Hey, Faye. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, it was really kind of interesting, though. And if you look, when you first start flying and you go into like small private strips, it looks like you're never going to have enough room to stop. I mean, if I learned to fly at an airport like 3,500 feet, which is like standard a lot of places. It's like plenty of room to take off and land in a single engine airplane. Then you want to go to these like places where they have pancake breakfasts and stuff like that. These private strips that aren't really airports. And you go there and you fly over the top of it and you look down. It's like, man, there's no way in hell. I mean, they're less than half the size of what you learned on. You're thinking, man, God, you're just like worried the whole time. And then you read at 1,600 feet, and that the 3,500 foot runway that you learned on, you were stopping there in 1,100 feet all the time. So if you did everything right, you had plenty of room to stop, but it doesn't look like it out the windshield. The whole way it looks like, man, is this thing going to stop? Oh, that's cool, Ice Feeds. Say, I skydived for quite a while too. And when I learned skydiving, it was the old Paracommander. It wasn't those kind where you're pulling the risers down like a square chute and you're steering them, and the kind like you see to land in the middle of football games. And there were many more injuries in the old Paracommanders, and the reason is they actually came down pretty quick. You weren't pulling those two risers at the last second and landing soft. And if the military showed videos of like beginning paratroopers, and when you're coming straight down and you don't have a reference to see like a big building, you're slowly coming down, trees aren't tall enough because they're like 100 feet. It's hard to judge looking down how fast you're going. And they showed all these videos of these guys over water, and the maneuver was to jettison your chute about 25 feet before you hit the water, so you could hit the water and try and swim away from the parachute getting on you and drowning you once you hit the water. And you ought to see these guys, man. You can see them looking down, and they're like jettisoning their chute like way too high or way too low. And that's because it's hard to like judge when you're looking straight down at blue water. You're not looking out and realizing, you're coming down the side of a mountain. You're just looking down, and you see guys like tense up, get relaxed, tense up, get relaxed, or bam, just hit the water. It's weird. Hey, Conan. I did 2 night jumps. Yeah, I did. Yep. Oh, that's cool, Melissa. Yeah, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was okay. You know, it was just something new to do. I flew a glider a couple times. I didn't like that either. I thought it was super boring. I had a couple free rides in balloons. I didn't even take them. It just really didn't interest me. Now, I wouldn't mind taking a balloon ride in Africa or something like that, but just going up in a balloon, looking out the side. Plus, it kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies to just be getting blown around, and you're really not like steering the thing. You know, I just skipped it. And I flew quite a few ultralights, tested them out. I was going to buy one, but it wasn't like you thought. You know, those, I flew all sorts of kinds, trikes, weed hoppers, one's on floats, one's not. And you know what it is? First of all, it's got to be hardly any wind conditions when you're flying them. Secondly, they're super noisy. It's not like an airplane and all. And thirdly, it just beats the hell out of you flying around with that wind blowing in your face. I mean, you can get fairings and stuff like that, but in the cruise speed isn't that much different than the stall speed. So basically, you're full throttle all the time. They have a terrible glide ratio. And that's why the people, when they lose engines in those things, everybody thinks you're going to float down like Mary Poppins. It's the opposite. They actually have a poor gliding ratio. And if you ever see one lose an engine, the nose is pointed practically straight down because there's so much drag on a poorly designed airframe that you've got to put it down that much to keep enough airspeed to keep from stalling. And then when you try and flare, there's not much left because you're going slow, even though you got the nose down. It was just like, I didn't do that either. I think they're death traps. If everything works and nothing ever quits, they're fine. But if they do, you're 100 times better in an airplane. Yeah, same here. Hey, Grandma Bird. Yeah, I did. I own some airplanes, yeah. You know, I noticed too, if I get a phone call while this live's on, if I'm not there to like cancel it when I get the call, it cuts off the live. It never used to do that because I left it playing today when I went back and looked at the pond with Marty. I came back and like the live was off and somebody called. How you doing, Conan? You ever go flying little planes, Melissa? My favorite place to fly was from Ann Arbor, Michigan to Mackinac Island, Michigan. Just a beautiful flight. No cars are allowed there. It's all horses and carriages. They have an airport there. It was just great, beautiful place to fly into. Oh, cool. Oh, that's good. Up near Yukon, and Martha Lundstrom. She was worked for the FAA for 30 years and was an excellent journalist for Flying Magazine. And about 4 years ago, she decided to fly under a bridge over there, over near 275 or 475 or whatever it is. And because there was so much graffiti getting painted around the bridge pylons, they had cameras set up and they got her tail number. Long story short, she ended up getting all her ratings revoked, and Flying Magazine laid her off. If you Google female pilot Cincinnati, you probably saw it on the news or read about it in the paper. I did. I owned a 152, a 172, and a 182. Oh, cool, Melissa. Good night, Rita. What are you going to bed by so early for? It's crazy what airplanes are selling for now. used airplanes. Oh, food bank. Oh, okay. Well, have a good day. Yeah, probably, Sonia. Yeah, these bugs are loud. Well, I don't know why I never really looked that up. That they usually do on this kind of stuff, but I don't know why they make that noise at night. You know, we have a lot of box turtles around here. Yeah. I thought about spraying the back of their shells with like fluorescent paint just so I don't run over them. It's kind of hard to see them when you go back to the pond if you're in like an ATV. And there's one that I found in the exact same spot within a week. I don't know why it's hanging out there. Yeah, the night sounds down here are fantastic, even in the wintertime. It's so quiet here, it's ridiculous. I mean, where my place is getting built, it's going to be just like this. It's only like 100 yards from here. That's right, Sonia. That's exactly why I don't want a pond. First of all, I don't really care for the water down south. It's kind of dirty looking. I grew up in water that looked like that in Michigan. You know, you couldn't see 2 feet underwater. It was a lot of organic material. It's not because it's dirty necessarily. It's the organic material. But if you go up in northern Michigan, it's beautiful, crystal clear water. If you go down to Destin, Florida, that kind of thing, Jupiter, Florida. But I just don't like the look of the water down here. Even Lake Oconee, which are expensive houses, you couldn't give me a house over there. And I just don't want to dig a big hole in the ground. You can't even like see fish swimming in a pond. They're down there. But I don't like that dark. And plus, it's a big mosquito breeder. And like right here, there's really no water unless a little hangs around from a storm, which it doesn't last long usually. So that's the reason I'm not digging a pond. I don't want it. Sweetest sound is silence. That's true. Yeah, it looks dirty. Yeah, it sure does. Yep. You know, it's like that in Hilton Head too. You go over to Hilton Head and that water, you can't see 9 inches in that. It's just not. I just don't like. It's not eye appealing. If you want to see uh, beautiful water, go down to Destin, Florida, or Gulf Shores National Seashore down near Pensacola and Panama City. You've never seen beautiful beaches and water like that. I guarantee you. I don't care where. It kind of looks like Maldives if you've ever watched YouTube videos. It doesn't even look real. It's so clear. It's like that in Hawaii, and it's also like that in the Bahamas. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Canada. I've been up in Canada. It's clear. Yep. You know, it's just eye appealing. It's like attractive looking. You like just sitting out there watching it. Oh, gotcha, Melissa. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just plan on just like I got some pretty good telescopes, and I'm gonna put a vulture cam, a bee cam. I'm gonna have a huge, giant ant farm, see-through, like 10 feet long by 8 feet high. And I'm going to have a very large display of honeybees, big clear glass. They can come and go as they want. No, I saw a lot. You know, I'm not. We used to cut the 184 acres of this, keep it cut. And once I turned Marty on to bees, he asked me if I thought we should cut it, and I said, well, there are a lot of wildflowers going. And when I was at that rattlesnake roundup down in Wiggum, Georgia, in the spring, I was talking to a couple state biologists, and there's a lot of, like, not near me, but in the area, like tree farms and that kind of thing. And they look better than you always look at them. You think, God, I'm glad that's not condominiums. At least it's trees. And the biologist told me those were all complete and total dead zones. That nothing thrives there. Nothing. You won't see birds building nests there. You won't see snakes. You won't see box turtles. It's just a biological dead zone. And then the more I read about it, it's true. Particularly snakes, which are getting screwed. And they're thinking about putting some on the endangered species list. They don't have it. A lot of this stuff needs natural habitat, not landscape, not non-indigenous plants, not a bunch of traffic, ATVs going by, that kind of thing. So actually, when I talked to him about it and I showed him some examples and I told him what I'd gleaned from the conversations with the biologist, he said, let's just not cut it anymore. So the only grass that is cut is this 4.5 acres right around the house, which kind of looks like a golf course. But I'm telling you, if you let it grow wild right up to the house, you'd be getting, these bugs would take you over. They would. So 4.5 acres out of this much acreage, so what, It looks nice. I like the look of it, and he likes the look of it. And, these bees will fly up to 3 miles, and they got plenty of places to go get pollen, nectar. It's coming along pretty good, yeah. But to answer your question about the fawns, last year I did. This year I didn't, but I'm not going back there like I did last year as much. They're probably like crunched down in the weeds and you don't see them because you're not there, Oh, good. Oh, that's cool, Jeff. Yeah, so where Brooklyn, where Napoleon Airport is? Grass Lake. Yeah, hardly ever. I mean, I do once in a while. Usually what'll cause you to get stung by bees is like if I'm replacing their feeding jar and you'll pinch one, or something like that. It's usually an accident that gets you stung. I fooled with bees for a long time, and I've read a lot of stuff, and some people just get stung. I don't know why. They blame it on scents and colognes and body odor and all sorts of stuff. I've seen it happen like 5 times in 30 years. What'll get most people stung if you swat at them, because the guard bees are out there protecting the hive. And there's all these theories on why they do what they do, but they're flying around trying to ascertain if you're a threat or not. And as long as you don't swat at them. But I do get stung here and there, but it's usually because I pinched one accidentally or something like that. Or like you pick up a honey jar and you didn't see one on the other side of the jar and he stings you, but hardly ever. Oh, that's what I think, Sonia. I think it's absolutely fascinating bees when you consider the work they do and, drawing that comb in the complete darkness. And it's all females. And the work they do. I mean, they only live 40 days in the summer. And it's all new bees all the time. And everything's done for the future. It's crazy. Yeah, I'll tell you a good trick to kill wasps, and I found this out accidentally. I mean, I used to give treats to my bees, usually cane sugar. But this time I'm giving them honey. You want to kill wasps, take like an area where they're at and you don't want them, and go get some honey and put some drops on it. Those wasps will come right to that honey. You can swat them then. They'll find that honey in a heartbeat. They love it. Oh, ground bees. Oh, bumblebees. Yeah, when I was living up in West Branch, right before I left, a guy had run over a bunch of them in a field. You know, they live underground, and killed them. Anaphylactic shock. I've run over them in the John Deere tractor before, and I've had them, like, you can hear them hitting the glass when you're driving, cutting the thing. I'd hate to be in an open bobcat or something. See, I got a bug on my leg now. Here's a honeybee down there. See him? Near my sock. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but, you know, I trapped carpenter bees by the hundreds. They will ruin your home. And the wood that was used on this home that I'm in now, you know, wasn't something that bees didn't like, and it'll look like Swiss cheese if you just let them go. I probably killed 500 of them this year in those glass jars. Those glass jars are very effective. They're actually very good pollinators, but I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. When they start ruining your home, I mean, that's it for me. Yeah, that's probably true. They seem pretty sharp. They're hard to swat at and kill. I had one sting me in the back of the head the other day, walking in the house, and I think I might have pinched him when he was on a honey jar, and I didn't realize it. He didn't give me a full sting. He barely got me in the back of the head. Oh yeah, probably, yeah. I used bee traps, carpenter bee traps. It's a square angled pine box with a mason jar on the bottom, with 3/8-inch holes on all four sides. And they go in there thinking that, you know, they're going to have to do less work. They go in there to lay eggs, and they go in that 3/8-inch hole the same side they drill. And once they get down into the jar, there's no way they're flying up and flying out of one of those holes. They basically just either get killed by heat, dehydration, or lack of food. I mean, it sucks. I hate doing it. But like I said, they will wreck the house. That's what I'll show you right here. Here's the bee jars. Right there. That. You got them all over. See the 3/8-inch holes on all four sides? Well, but if you only caught that many, if you only caught that many, you don't have a problem with carpenter bees too much, because they'll go in it left and right. I had to empty these jars twice this year. I'll show you. I didn't clean out the ones on the back of the house yet, and they're filled too with carpenter bees. Yeah, they'll eat a house up, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really do hate doing it. And they're excellent pollinators. Actually, uh, bumblebees are better pollinators than honeybees. And let's say with like blueberries. You know, if you can see them in apple blossoms and watermelons and cucumbers, and I mean, I wouldn't say it looks like they enjoy it, but it looks like it isn't a problem. But if you ever see honeybees where they use them to pollinate blueberries, those leaves are in there getting their legs stuck and stuff. It just seems like it wears them out, and they're much less effective than bumblebees, which just kind of truck on through and nothing really seems to stop them. So for blueberries, I would probably use bumblebees, but all the bumblebees die. Only the queen lives going into the winter, so every year you're starting over. That is really weird. That is really strange. And they say leave the dead bees in there. There's a scent that dead bees give off that attract other carpenter bees. I guess it's true. I mean, although, you know, they were brand new and they started filling up right away, so I don't know how accurate that is. Yeah, it gets rid of them. It does. See the raccoon out there? See his eyes underneath the bird feeder? Right there? See the raccoon's eyes? You see him? See him looking at me? He's actually fighting with a possum out there. He's eating birdseed. Yeah. Well, I'm a big bird nut. Raccoons kill a lot of birds. They're big egg eaters. There's two of them out there. There's a possum and a raccoon fighting. Can you hear them grunting? Yeah, eyes glow. Yeah, they're pretty harmless possums. They eat a lot of ticks too. They're immune to rattlesnake bites too. And they never get rabies, ever. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, it's super peaceful. It really is, yeah. I mean, if you want to get away from like the crazy world, you can't beat it here. There aren't 3 cars that go by here a month. These were logging roads, actually. This place hasn't. This place was 10 times busier 100 years ago than it is now. Oh yeah, I did black light infrared trail cams all winter long. I'd put out hams and stuff and stake them down in the ground. Yeah, we get all sorts of stuff. Coyotes, a couple wild pigs, fox, possum, raccoons. That's about it as far as animals. Oh, did you? Did you really? Oh, wow, JP. Oh, the heat and humidity. Right now is pretty nice. This is the coolest it's been in quite a while. You know, there's no light pollution out here either. Just that one light behind me. And we're going to take that down pretty soon. He's still out there. See his beady eyes? What was surprising to me is how many of these animals ate together at night. Yeah, I like fall and winter too. I like bad winters, like blizzards, snowstorms, that kind of thing. And I really, if Michigan would have stayed like it was when I was younger, I'd have probably stayed there. But the winters are nothing up there anymore. Hardly any snow, low water. Hell, the Great Lakes didn't even freeze last year, hardly at all. Yeah, you actually have about the same weather we have here, Conan. From here to all the way to Cincinnati. And as soon as you get north of Cincinnati, you start to notice a change. Oh, that's cool, Sonia. Yeah, I'm the same way, Dave. Yeah, I like it too. This winter, I'll probably head up to either out to Montana or the Upper Peninsula of Michigan on Lake Superior. Get a hotel or a Airbnb or something where I can be on the water before it's frozen. Those big northwest winds, cold, blizzard. Oh yeah, you're right. It's a killer, Melissa. Yeah. Nah, the heat's a bitch. But I do like, big blizzards. I've been out in the Dakotas before. They've just gotten killed. I was up in Copper Harbor one time and they got killed. Just crazy snow, like 2 feet in a night. I was in the second and third worst snowstorm in Chicago. It was fantastic. Yeah, I know. Well, a lot of times they're not equipped for it. All-wheel drive, winter tires, not all-season tires, winter. Yeah, you know how it is down there around Michigan City. I mean, there's a joke that it snows there in August. They've got that snow belt down there around there near Gary, Michigan City. They get a lot of weird snow because, the way the lake's set up. And yeah, same here. Yeah, I really love the winter, though, and the blizzards. But, man, I haven't had one in a long time. Yeah, yep. No, that's cool, Melissa. I mean, I think everybody would agree. I mean, why? Who knows? There are theories out there, but if you're in your 60s, you recognize how much different the weather is than when you were in your 20s. Oh, wow. I'm telling you, when it's like one of these 98-degree days, high humidity, I feel sick in it. Even like just going out and doing something simple. It makes me like sick feeling. Oh, wow. I'll tell you what I learned. It took me I just learned this about 2 months ago. And I wish I'd have known it when I was younger. And that is, if you want to stay cool, don't laugh. This works. If you want to stay cool in the summertime on a hot day, wear long pants, long sleeves, some light gloves to cover your hand, and a big hat, and you will be cooler than you ever were in a tank top and a pair of shorts. I promise you. It's the truth. Look at farmers. And look at construction workers down here, like the guys building my house. The hot sun doesn't have direct contact with your skin. It's hitting the cloth first. Full-length clothing, yep. Yeah, it's not shorts and tank tops. Man, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I know. You couldn't have, I don't think I'd have believed it before. But what happens, it takes about 3 hours to cut the grass right around here, not rushing, and I used to wait till the sun got below the treetops, but as the days get shorter, by the time that happens, you don't have enough time till it gets dark, and I just hate doing it 2 days. I'd rather knock it all in one. So just as an experiment, I just went out at noon on a super hot day with the clothing that I just told you should wear. No problem at all. Now I don't wait for it to be cloudy or rainy or after it gets below the tree line. I put a hat, sunscreen where the sun hits my face, long sleeves, long like jogging, long sweats kind of, gloves over my hand. Shit, man, I don't care how hot it gets. As long as you're not walking. If you're just sitting, driving a tractor, it's no problem. Hey, Mark. Yeah, that's right, son. That's true. Yeah, I like it too, but if you're doing something out there and you want to, you'll be surprised how much cooler you are. It's nuts. It really is weird. I never really, what I did learn is like, you have like, a basic understanding what places have to offer, and unless you like get lucky like I did here, you never know about them. If you'd have told me that you could have like places like this close to Georgia, only 45 minutes from Augusta, I wouldn't have believed it. And believe it or not, Atlanta is not that big. It's actually only about 650,000 people. It seems like it when you're driving through it. Fulton County, now that's different, but that's a bunch of places. But I didn't know they had these big wild forests jammed with wildlife down here still available. Yeah, I don't really like air conditioning. I'll tell you though, I don't think I could sleep here without it. I mean, maybe on a night like tonight I could with a fan, but when you get those really like 95, 92-degree nights with high humidity, you just like, I'll lay in my bed, you'll sweat just laying on your bed, doing nothing. Yeah. But I do turn it off whenever I have the opportunity, even in my truck. A lot of times I'll leave the windows down, the air conditioning blowing. Oh my God, no kidding, huh? Look at Mexico City, their population. It's like, my God. Yeah, it does keep it cooler, sure does, yep. You still thinking of moving south, Dave? You think you'll really ever do it? Oh, I think so too, son. Yeah, I like it. I like it like that. All sorts of like interesting birds around and stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. It takes some getting used to, though, I'll tell you. It wasn't like I was in love with it right away. Oh, cool, Melissa. You visit them much? Yeah, I like it here, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, me too, Conan. Yep. Oh, hang on one second. I'm going to get another beer. Okay, I'm back. Oh, you're lucky. You know, I lived in downtown Chicago for 12 years too, which was a great experience, but I was ready to get out of there. I left that place 12 years ago and I didn't have one bit of interest in going back. Oh, you haven't visited, Melissa? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, when I leave here, I skip Atlanta and I cut up through Gatlinburg, and then I head from the east, heading west into Knoxville. Then I head north on 75. Yeah, heat sucks. Melissa, you get any of that good brisket out there? Smoked brisket? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not even down around Chattanooga at all. Well, it's funny. You talk to people and they always go through Atlanta, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Because if you look on a map and you look where Crawfordville is, I'm 90 miles east of Atlanta. So that means I've got to go straight west, not heading north at all, into the south side of Atlanta and drive all the way. And if you look at I-75, once you get north of downtown Atlanta, it bends to the northeast. So where I'm getting on after going straight north, I would have had to go all the way 90 miles west, and then it just doesn't make sense. Plus, you never know how screwed you're going to get in Atlanta traffic. I did it one time, and I thought, I'm not doing this anymore. And the drive from here up through Gatlinburg is beautiful. It's interesting. There's a lot of things to see. It's not like, bumper-to-bumper traffic going through Atlanta. So I just don't do it. Oh, cool, Melissa. But if you go plug it in your phone, like your MapQuest or Google or whatever you use as a navigation tool, it'll want to send you to Atlanta. I just don't get it. Yeah, beautiful. Yep. Hey, Christine, how you doing? I mean, even if it took longer, it's 14 hours from here to West Branch. I can get up to, in Cincinnati is about 5.5, 6 from West Branch to Cincinnati. So I'm kind of like about halfway when that's the one I worry about, Cincinnati. And I try and plan my trip accordingly. Either, super late at night or super early in the morning. And when you've got 6 hours each way, to make that halfway, I mean, you got to do some planning. And if I can't make that, like I'll leave West Branch like at Saturday. A lot of construction is shut down on Friday and Saturday nights. And the weekend, as crazy as it sounds to me, I go through a lot of construction sites that are closed rather than active through the week. God knows how long it'd take. Oh, cool, Christine. Well, you got some hot weather up there, huh? Yeah, it's hard to see. And driving through the mountains on 75 is nothing. I mean, those are the most well-marked. They got every clue in the world. Reflectors glued in the middle, all sorts of signs, well lit. I think driving through the mountains on I-75 is a piece of cake. It's only like 170 miles what you got to worry about. Just be kicking it, you know what I'm saying? So the raccoon the possum must have got full. No, how much? I know that was a big issue on that bridge because they basically couldn't afford to fix them. How much? See, I don't really care for the Appalachian Mountains. I don't really care for them. It's mainly, air pollution for starters. The mountains aren't that high, and I like if you took a line, I like Lexington. I like Louisville, and then I do like a triangle down to like Corbin, Kentucky. But Eastern Kentucky sucks. South of Louisville, I don't like. There's not that much of it. But if you go to like Eastern, Southeast Kentucky, man, it's like super poverty. Yeah, well, I know why, Christine, because that's the only they need that to fund the damn thing. Those bridges hadn't been maintained for years, and anytime you get anything worked on like that by like a licensed, insured, bonded company, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it cost $60 million to fix that bridge. So that's what you got to do. Yeah, Red River Gorge area is nice. Yep, I love Kentucky except for the east, the very south, and the southeast. But I think southeast Kentucky sucks. Yeah. I mean, if you like mountains, you really want to get like some good mountains. Go out the Rocky Mountains. Go out to Montana, Washington, Mount Rainier. I think like the Appalachians are kind of poor man's mountains. Alaska, go to Alaska. Yeah, I believe it, but it's just the way it is. That's what happens when you live on a peninsula. Yeah, foothills, that's exactly right. And it's always like, I mean, the Appalachians are just loaded with white trash. Just poverty and like crappy living conditions and, like hee-haw type shit. No jobs, ripped them off with coal strip mining, poor school systems, fucked up law enforcement. Excuse me. Yeah, we got a lot of lightning bugs here. Excuse me. One thing you'll notice down here, if you have allergies, man, this is like the worst place you could live, I think. Oh, really, Colin? You got to get out west. You need to go to Glacier National Park, Crater Lake in Oregon. I can tell you all the good places to go. I don't really care for Maine. I've been to all the national parks. I don't really care for that rocky shit either, like in Arizona. I do plan on going to New Mexico pretty soon. I don't like that dry, dusty, hot crap. Yeah. I don't really like the Maine. I don't really care. Vermont, so-so. New York, screw it. Washington, D.C., dumb. Virginia and West Virginia, good parts. Rhode Island, forget it. Pennsylvania, I like it. I like the Dakotas, Iowa, Nebraska. I like Montana, not a big Washington fan. California, there are good parts north, but the rest of it sucks. Florida, you can keep. I love Tennessee, parts of Kentucky. Hawaii, expensive, not worth it. Better places, you don't even need to get on an airplane. Alaska's fantastic. I've been everywhere in Alaska. And I don't want to go back. Once was enough. Yeah, touristy, that's exactly right. Well, everything's the same now. You go to a place, it's Lowe's, Home Depot, Five Guys hamburgers, Domino's pizza. It doesn't matter where you're at. And if it had old culture that you traveled for, like cowboys and Indians, uh, it's all fake bullshit. I mean, look at Gatlinburg. I mean, what do you go there for? Cotton candy, a T-shirt, and a plastic Civil War gun? Yeah, Tahoe's great. Yeah, I think Hawaii is way overrated. I'll probably never go to Mexico again. Have to be crazy to go down there. Big dope den. Arizona, I wouldn't care if I ever saw again. There's some cool places in Nevada. I like going to Las Vegas once in a while. You know, when I decide to take the plunge and get away from like what I'm experiencing now, I've done that a bunch of times. You know, I'm kind of a loner guy. And I just fly out to Las Vegas, especially in the 70s and 80s. Go out there for like $320, hotel, food vouchers, get in a hotel, walk around, stay up, play slot machines, in-house bands that were just killer. So fun. Now it's like $500 to see some comedian, you know, $400 a night, no free shrimp cocktails. And, you know, I'll tell you the thing that I can't figure out. When you talk to people that don't know about Las Vegas, they think they're going to go out there and it's like Sex City, you know, it's like prostitutes and topless bar. Well, let me tell you, that's the worst place you could be for that kind of stuff if that's why you're traveling. They got a 6-foot rule in Las Vegas. I don't go to topless bars anymore. And 6-foot rules. The horror houses are like 90 miles away. Prostitution's illegal. They arrest people constantly on stings all the time. And if you're a guy and you're in Las Vegas, they proposition you all the time. Girls walking the streets, but you got a chance of getting in big trouble. So it's like the worst place to go if that's what you're thinking. But everybody thinks Las Vegas is like wild and crazy and, you know, never ending like sex stuff. It's false. Yeah, I like gambling. I like gambling. Slot machines. I like just like, you know, being like at P.F. Chang's at 2 a.m, getting a kick-ass dinner, bullshitting with people, seeing all the freaks on the street. There was no place better than Tunica, Mississippi in its heyday around 2000. You know, I mentioned it before. I used to go there and spend a month at a time. It's so fun. Colorado, I like some of it. Yeah, I like playing the slots too, you know. It's fun to just go out there and have fun, you know. I feel bad for Tunica. That was a really, you know, they're heading back. They're worse off now than they were before gambling ever came there. Did a full 360. They're right back to being broke and going out of business. Good night, Christine. Yeah, nothing lasts forever. That's the truth. Las Vegas reinvented itself. You know, it's kind of a family destination now. Yeah, big sky. Isn't that the truth, Sonia? You know why, too, if you're out there. Big sky country. Have you been out there much, Sonia? Oh, that's all right, Mark. Hey, I unstruck that video, by the way. I fixed it. Hey, Mark, tell that person, whoever did that, what happens is, like, they have a copyright section. You can find it on your dashboard on YouTube. So every once in a while I click on it, it shows people that have copied my videos, and they show you how much of the videos they copy. And usually it's some big stalker asshole just trying to make me look bad or whatever. So you got to fill out this bullshit and tell them you want to immediately remove. I don't know of anybody when they get one of those from YouTube that bothers to look to see what's referenced in the description. So there was like zero chance I was ever going to see where she tried to give me some credit. That's why I didn't see it. So I just thought it was some stranger jack-off copying my shit that I didn't like, and I just automatically strike them. But I revoked it, so I think it should be fine. Oh, really, Sonia? No kidding. Yeah, I like Billings. Yeah, it's fun. Cool. I didn't spend much time there. Usually up around Kalispell. Havre, Havre. Minot, North Dakota. Rapid City, South Dakota. Yeah, you're right, Sonia. Yeah, you might want to mention her if she does that in the future. She should get a hold of the people, because I don't know of anybody that looks to see that they post a link to the channel. I would have never saw that in a million years. And YouTube just alerts you, like it's like, hey, you might want to do something about this. You know, they show you how much your video's used, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I don't care if people use my videos. They ask to do it all the time. I could care less. If I'd have known that you knew that person, I wouldn't have done it to begin with, but I had no way of knowing that. Yeah, no, I think it is too, Sonia, yeah. How often do you get out there now? Like, do you at least get out there once a year? Oh, cool. Do you still work, Sonia? Good night, Conan. You got to plan that trip. Crater Lake in Glacier National Park. Oh, good for you. Is that a maiden name or a married name, Sonia? Oh, I don't blame you. Yeah, good for you. I think the properties are because of these crazy real estate prices everywhere. I think it's just based on value, and places that had what I would deem accurate assessments are not accurate anymore. It's this inflated bullshit fake market of these nutty prices, which are all false. I've been good. I like the sound of them. I've been good. Yeah, it's these fake assessments. None of this stuff's worth this. It's just another mechanism to stamp out the middle class. What don't you like about them? I don't know. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. It's even nuts up where I live in West Branch. It's super crazy in Florida. You'd have to be out of your mind to pay that. It's happened with used airplanes too. You know, it's capitalism. It's weird. Supply and demand, right? You get all these people that didn't want to buy houses, and then they decided they did. Absolutely crazy. Oh, were they? I never see them walking around here. I never see one, hardly ever. Yeah, I like all insects and stuff. I think it's cool. Bees. Boy, the bees are a lot quieter than now. I'll tell you why, because they're not fanning. It's cooled down. They don't need to have part of their population fanning the hot air out of the hive. Oh, you don't like them, huh? Yeah, it sucks. It's like that here too, Sonia, though. The humidity's high. You know, my buddy just went down and sold some of his collectible cars and Meecum auctions, Meecum. And I know a guy that runs a big hedge fund. He said it's getting ready for the big fall. Everybody's getting set up. Another financial collapse. And this Meecum auctions, which, you know, they had these auctions all over the country, these collectible cars. He said that like tons of those cars down there didn't even meet reserve, you know, the minimum bid. Which says to me, and I don't have anything to prove this, you know, a lot of these people, they'll go down there and drop $5 million on buying cars. It's crazy. I mean, there's wealth out there. I think their financial advisors are telling them not to. This stuff's not going to be worth shit in another 6 months. There's something to it. Poor turnout, poor sales, low values. Congratulations, Lee. That's hard to do. Hard to do. That's harder to quit than crack, nicotine. Good for you. That's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations. Oh, it's hard. I know. Yeah. Oh, Naperville. Well, as you know, ought to know, that was visited. That was voted a couple times as the nicest city to live in to raise a family. Yeah, Naperville. I've been out there before. Yep. Yeah, there's nothing. Coffee's high in antioxidants. It's not. Coffee's good for you, Sonia. Yeah, good for you, Alethea. No, it's hard to do. Yeah, you're right about that, ought to know. Yeah. Crazy. No, I like coffee. I could take it or leave it. Same with alcohol. I could take it or leave it. It's not, I could. But I guess I'd rather take it because I drink it. But it wouldn't be hard for me to quit. Yeah, you're right, ought to know. I mean, you got crazy housing prices out there too. I was in Detroit, yeah, it was one time, about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Yeah, went down there once when I was up in Michigan. Oh, are you really? Yeah, I don't doubt that, living out there. Shit, living out in Naperville, you better believe it's expensive out there. There's plenty of people on the verge of being homeless. Don't feel bad. No, I didn't, Anthony. I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me that. Yeah. She was actually good friends with the guy that bought the West Branch McDonald's. I think that's in the top 5 grossing restaurants in the country. You know, a funny thing about Zenders is, he owned a restaurant, and they own all sorts. There's about 2 families that own everything in Frankenmuth. And she pledged $1 million to improve the parks about 5 years ago. And she had a hard time coming up with it. Just goes to show you, I mean, even rich people, when it comes to cold cash, it took her a while. Yo, tons of them, Sonia. You sure do. Yeah, tons of them. They're all over the place. I see them all the time. I probably saw 10 fawns today around here. 101. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, that's a big German area. German immigrants. Frankenmuth's nice. I mean, it wouldn't be for me, but you got to give them credit for marketing that place. 70 years. Wow. God. No wonder she's dead. Crazy. I never thought their chicken was that. Is that family style chicken? Family style. I never thought it was that good. Honestly, I think Kentucky Fried chicken's better. Yeah, they're all over the place around here. Big time. You know, I've had a lot more time to watch these bees sitting out on the porch like I do. And I had a lot of them before over the years, but I never watched them for this kind of time. You know, I did what I had to do and, you know, worked the hive however I had to, but I never just sat and watched them for hours and hours and hours. And I'm convinced that bees see a lot better than they claim they do. I think their vision's much better than it's depicted in literature. Oh, right on now. Oh, good for you. Are you working out there? I don't know. Are you working? Yeah, it depends on who your landlord is. Better believe it. No, me either, Letha. Isn't that nuts? Oh, I have got a lot of them. Fills them up. Fills up the whole damn jar. Oh, no kidding. I don't know. Yeah. I saw what people were paying to see Taylor Swift, like, have a meeting with her. It was like $23,000. Like a meet and greet. Wow. Well, I'm glad did they have a good time? Did they spend the night up there or come right back? Yeah, diversity. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, good for you. Oh, good for them. Nice. Yeah, I used to like some of Katy Perry songs. I've heard her interviewed before, though, and she seems like kind of a flake. And that's just my opinion. Maybe not. Great songwriter, for sure. I'll tell you another thing I've noticed with these bees that, you know, of course, I just wasn't set up right to notice this before. Is you know, there's different theories on whether bees sleep or not. And what happens sometimes is if you go over there anytime right now, you can hear them buzzing around the entrance to the hive, probably trying to cool it down. I don't know what they're doing. But sometimes I'll turn the porch light on accidentally. There'll be like 20 bees attracted to the light. And then I'll turn the porch light off. And I notice they all stop and just sit on the side of the house until the sun comes up. And then they go back to the hive. And I don't know if they're sleeping or not. I can just tell you that they're still, and they're not out frantically looking how to get back to the hive. So I'm beginning to think that, yeah, they do sleep. Some of these articles in these bee publications talk about them sleeping in shifts. I mean, these beekeepers are so full of shit. And some of this research that you read, I just don't believe. So I'm really kind of like undecided, but it's looking like they do sleep. And another thing too, is they're out flying around at night, even with no ambient light, which they say they don't do very often. When I was living in Chicago, unrelated to beekeeping, there was a softball field, like would be up north of town near the zoo. And I used to stay out late at night, walking around the lakeshore, that kind of thing. And I would see honeybees like 3 in the morning working the clover in these softball fields, which if you read publications, they say that doesn't happen. So, not all the information you read is accurate. Oh, good, Alicia. Yeah, I don't know either. No, a lot of it, who knows? Who knows? I mean, some of these people are so full of shit that come up with these ideas. I just don't buy it. Yeah, she comes from big money. You know that, don't you? She comes from a family of investment bankers. Okay, now here's the deal, too. What's the deal with her? She can't seem to get a boyfriend. What's going on there? There's something off. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Yep. Yeah, to me, I don't really think she's attractive. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't really find her pretty for some reason. There's just something amiss there. I mean, you got to give her A+ for marketing. Yeah, Taylor. Yeah. Oh, you think so? Oh, yeah, it could be. You might be right on that. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think Madonna was attractive either. Oh, she did? Oh, okay. Yeah, I go by there sometimes, yeah. It doesn't get very good reviews. Look it up. Ciccone Vineyards up in Suttons Bay, Michigan. Your dad says their wine sucks, Anthony. Yeah, you don't know if that's all fake publicity agent bullshit. I mean, she's turned out to be a real kook in her older years. You gotta be kidding. Is that actually true? Seriously. How much were those tickets? Oh, that was sweet, man. That's nice of her to do. I'd have done something like that at that age. I mean, if it means that much to her, that was nice of her to do. Oh, cool. Was it that much? $5,000 for 3? Really? No kidding. Yeah, you're right, Alethea. Yeah. That's one thing I give my only regret I have is not quitting high school. I did everything else. Man, I didn't hold back on anything. I quit good jobs to go on hitchhiking trips, riding freight trains. It's great. I hitchhiked all the way down to Tijuana, Mexico. And the first week, I blew all my money on blowjobs and had to have my dad wire me some money. Dear old dad, he said to me, "What'd you do? Spend it on blowjobs?" I said, "Yeah, how'd you know? Chip off the old block." Yeah, those memories are forever, too. Oh, that was nice of you. Yeah, that's cool. That's nice. Really, I didn't even have enough to eat after 4 days, Alicia. Yeah. I'd like to tell you a sad, miserable story, but I'm still smiling over it. It was 50 years ago. I'd like to take a moment of silence for all the prostitutes that blew me 50 years ago. They're probably dead now. Yeah, you're right, Sonia. You talk about memories. Yeah, I think high school's a waste of time, kind of. What's that 31-year-old doing for a job now? No, I got tacos, and they used to have this cut up, chilled watermelon. It's so damn good. Yeah, man, those are good old days, man. Actually, I kept in touch with one of those prostitutes for about 10 years. We were pen pals. Best trip I ever took in my life. Yeah, I swear to God, I'm not kidding you. Worth every dime. Now you're gonna think I'm full of shit, but the one prostitute I met down there, she could speak good English, and man, we hung out like for 3 days. It was so damn fun. Went out to eat, went to some clubs. I was just a young guy. She was like 33. God, the way we were. Oh, good. I don't know. It's great. Super. Good for her. MRI, a guy that actually, there's an interesting book. The guy that actually invented the MRI, I have the book. It was Damadian. Damadian. Look it up. Your daughter should know this. And he was such a motherfucker. He pissed everybody off that they fucked him out of the Nobel Prize because he was such an asshole. But that's the guy that invented the MRI. Look it up on Google. Damadian. It's a big, like 750-page book. I mean, what a fucking genius. You talk about an instrument to diagnose diseases. But he pissed so many people off, he got fucked out of the Nobel Prize over that thing. Damadian. Super interesting story. Yeah, I haven't talked to Becky in a long time. I mean, I honestly, if I saw her name come up in the caller ID, I wouldn't answer it. I'm done with that shit, man. I did that for quite a while, and it was just a dead end, getting lied to. Nobody's getting any better. It's just fuck it. I said fuck it. I have a hard time meeting someone that like understands my philosophy. You either got to be a fucking lunatic with a good body or brain dead. I can't like do this. Yeah. I want to move over to Canada and have posters of Anne Murray on my bedroom wall and hum songs to the Loving Spoonful. She probably does know. You're probably right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. You're not going to catch any smoking gun with me. I'd like to tell you it was just like being honest and forthright, but I think it's more of a function of just being mentally ill. I just like that. And, there's consequences for being that way. I think it's helped me more than it's hurt me, but you know what you're getting. There's no, like, you're not going to get, like, I'm, kind of on the verge of dating this person that I used to date. And she knows I'm a fucking lunatic. But there's a lot of things she likes about me. But there's some conditions that she's not too cool with. And this is my lifelong problem. I mean, I try to convince them that there's virtue in being honest. And this is true. You're never going to catch me lying or fooling around on the side or bullshit like that. It's not happening because I spell it all out up front. Promise you, guarantee it. I'd put it in a legally binding contract. But I've realized over life that life doesn't really work that way. And I know why people lie. I don't, but it makes sense to me. And it bodes for smoother waters. I'm 67. 67. Yeah, I mean, I think it sucks because of the age you are, not because you're single, which is a big difference. It's just, that's the problem. It's not because you're single. It's a huge difference. I mean, I can understand why you think that way. Yeah, 10 years older. Yeah. Well, they lie because that's how the deal works. It gets you further. Let's take for an example. I'm assuming you're a female, right? Yeah, it's the age, son. Yeah, it's not about being single. I don't know. You're female, right? Hey, Alethea, are you feeling better that you're not smoking? Do you notice anything? Oh, good for you. 35 years. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I don't think that was in the cards for me. Oh, okay. Oh, good. I mean, I'll admit, I think I'm like a hard guy to like. Uh, I think I'd be a hard guy to have a relationship with. I think I've gotten better though, believe it or not. I can see why somebody wouldn't want to put up with my bullshit. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Good for you. Good for you. Good. That's good. Yeah, it's a hard habit to break. Yeah, I mean, that's like a common thing, set in your own ways, whatever that is. I think it's more like, you're smarter. You you got a big, long history to look back on. Your hormones have died out, and almost everything doesn't seem worth it. Would you agree with that, Sonia? Hey, Karen. Yeah, I get that. I'm kind of the same way, too. Yeah, I'm the same way, too. I'm really good at relationships, like when they're really exciting, and at the beginning, it's later on I start, like, dying out. Married 3 times. Holy shit. I bet there's not a position in the world you're not familiar with. I mean, look at my age. I mean, I'm at the point now where I'd rather watch fucking birds than jack off. How sad. Yeah. You keep comparing everything to when you were young, and that's not fair. Yeah, that a girl. Good for you. Yeah, it's normal, Sonia. I think it is. Yeah, hormones were everything. Yeah, you got my vote. I say that all the time. It's no different than the deer that are in a rut in the fall. If you think a young, fertile female deer is looking around for an old male with his balls dragging the ground and a busted off antler and rotten teeth, you're wrong. She's looking for that ass kicker that's kicking everybody's ass with a big dick and a nice coat. It's just the way it works. No, at least he's being honest. That's true. We all would. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. That's why you see these bullshit shows, and Oprah. If there was just one reason that show isn't on anymore, I'm glad for it. And they get these couples on there, these Viagra commercials, and they're in their 60s and they're holding hands. And give me a fucking break. You talk about trick photography. I think what gets older people hooked up and in bad situations is loneliness. That's one thing I don't have. I mean, I'm crazy. I get depressed, but I'm not lonely. And if I was, I think I'd probably be with some beast. Yeah, it's just how it is, son. You know what it is? And it's the same myth with, I knew good-looking guys that modeled full-time when I was living in Chicago. And they were still getting escorts and shit. And everybody thinks that these older, rich women want these young guys. That's bullshit. I'm not saying it never happens. But it isn't like older guys wanting younger girls. Older women want stimulating conversations and that kind of thing. And when I did know of it happening, which was very rare, they would help these young guys create these false personas of being successful, whether it was a DBA, they were a financial consultant, some bullshit that they never did anything. But the older women that had these younger guys, and they were far and few between, they didn't want to be embarrassed by just having this boy toy around. They wanted to make it look like they like someone other than for the image and help them fabricate a false career. It's totally different for older men and younger women and older women and younger men. It's a myth. That's why The Summer of 42 is a movie. I lived in the Dave and Buster's building right down there at Clark and Division. You know where that's at in the Gold Coast? Hey, Impalov, how you doing? Yeah, it would break you. You wouldn't be that interested in it, Karen. You wouldn't be that interested in it. Unless he had 3 fucking porno movies playing on, was high on coke, he wouldn't be interested in doing it either. I mean, it's just false bullshit. Yeah, boy toy. Yeah, break your back. Sure would. I mean, you'd stock up on KY jelly and you'd take a couple edibles, your local marijuana provisioner, and slug down a couple glasses of wine, hope for the best. Yeah, I've never smoked marijuana, believe it or not. Did a few edibles, but I just never did. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, distinguished man. Yeah. Yeah, that's all Hollywood made up bullshit. Yeah, I'm the same way, Sonia. I think so too. Yeah, it does. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Make you laugh? You can find that. It shouldn't be that hard. That's such a small piece of the pie, they'll make you laugh. Yeah, I think so, Sonia. I'd agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, mute. Isn't that the truth? I just think that my whole life, I'm a fucking pervert. Everybody knows that. I don't know of any incidents of that. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but I've known enough women in my life that that confide in me that I know, and none of them are doing this shit. I mean, they got fucked a couple times when they were younger and wish they hadn't and blah, blah, blah. But after they get up in their 50s and 60s, they're not getting a good drilling by a young guy. And they're not because they're not looking for it. Because young guys that haven't had a lot of sexual experience, they're stupid. They think because women are older that they're good and bad, and it doesn't work that way. Strong, silent type, right? Yeah, it's like male escorts for older female women. I mean, you go broke. It's a fucking movie industry, a false character. Let's face it, and everybody knows this. I'm not saying women don't go out and get a stiff one once in a while, but by and large, it's a mental connection, not a physical. Where old males, they could care if like a good-looking woman had Down syndrome. It wouldn't bother them a bit if she was attractive. Be no conversation at all. Just a slobbering, good-looking blonde. Hey, Chris. Win-win. Exactly right. Yeah, it's true. It's complicated. It's not easy. Win-win. I mean, I don't know any more than anybody else does. It's lived a while, you know what I mean? It's finite. There's a shelf life for men and women. Oh, they're big time. They sure are, yeah. Yeah, big birds. They're actually very slow flyers, though. If you ever see one in flight, like really going somewhere, they're slow. It takes them forever to get anywhere. Yeah, I think so too, Chris. Yeah, it's a different crowd. You know, they've isolated genes for night people and day people. And the true night owls like me, even if I had to get up at 6 in the morning, I can't go to bed early. It's just, I got to fight to go to bed by 3 in the morning. I'd stay up all night. I do sometimes. When I get this new place built, I probably will stay up all night. Because, like right now, it's nice, right? Nobody's out here. It's just fucking around. You get up tomorrow morning, it'll be like fucking 200 degrees. My balls will be stuck to my legs by 11 in the morning. You can't do anything outside. It's like, fuck the daytime in the summer in the South. Who wants to be up doing any of that shit anyway? I'd just rather stay up all night. I've done it before. I've done it for like when I was in Michigan. Remember those old winter chats we used to have? Stay up all night long. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, slow they are. Yeah, you're right. Yep. It's crazy how they're totally silent though. How they don't make any noise flying, sneak up on shit, and how good they see, and how their eyes don't move and they got to move their neck. And I'll tell you, I worked at a rehab place where I hand fed some owls that get hit by cars and stuff like that. Their mouth looks small, like when you see them, but when you open it up, I mean, they swallow like rats whole. It's big. When it's opened all the way, it's like huge. They swallow like a whole mouse or rat at once sometimes. Sometimes they chew it apart, but a lot of times they'll swallow it whole. Yeah, you're that way too, I don't know. Good for you. Yeah, I'm the same way, night owl. Stealth mode. That's why, I'm not a religious guy, but I am an intelligent design guy, which is kind of vague too, but just the notion that you've got ducks and geese and owls and hummingbirds and all this shit. I mean, what'd it do? Just like come out of nowhere starting one day? I don't know what happened, but I mean, it's pretty damn impressive. That's why I try not to kill anything, except the carpenter bees. It's because, like, even if you're Bill Gates, you can't go out and create a new species of bird. I mean, it really is magnificent. And you look at these planets and the stars and all this shit circling around in a circle, not being on a track or a string connected to it, rather than just floating out in the middle of nowhere. The moon, the sun, fucking oceans, all this shit swimming around down the bottom. God, it's absolutely fascinating. Honeybees, for God's sakes. Hey, Pug. Honeybees, same shit, man. I'm in awe of these things. Plants, weeds. Fuck roses. How about weeds that nobody does anything for? They kill them, they spray them. We're out here fucking around trying to keep this place looking nice. I'm thinking, man, Mother Nature's just looking at me. I don't think, like, there is a Mother Nature looking at me, but this is just for the sake of argument. And thinking, look at this dumbass out here. He thinks he's really going to change the topography of the landscape. He is, but it's temporary, and that ain't no shit. Now, if you're a billionaire and all this bullshit you build, once you kick the bucket, if there's nobody to take over, it will all turn to rubble over time. Weeds. I have weeds, especially growing like a weed. That's no shit. It's interesting. Yeah, magnificent. Sure are. Yeah, something rather than nothing. That's what I think. I mean, the chicken or the egg type fucking bullshit. How about the first honeybee? This kind of thing. These whales and all this crazy shit. These planets and all this shit flying around. It's unbelievable, man. Really, I bear witness to it. Yeah, but weeds, you look at weeds, man. I mean, they just like the way they like grow in like cracks of concrete and through rocks, and like you're not even fertilizing them or water them or anything. They don't need any help. That's why I like these birds, like that don't get any help from people, like the vultures. Just stupid ass people. Rattlesnakes, they play an important ecological function in nature. They're villainized. Sharks, great white shark, killing them. These stupid fucking Asians, shark fin soup. I mean, these things are magnificent creatures, and mankind has villainized them. There's some fucking weirdo keeps trying to call me, restricted number. I never answer a restricted phone call because I don't want to give someone the pleasure of telling me to get fucked and hanging up. Yeah, they're fucking mentally ill, Sonia. If Sasquatch is real, why aren't there any dead ones? Why doesn't anybody shoot one in hunting season? It'd be legal because they're not indigenous. Why don't any get hit by cars? You got fucking trail cams everywhere, and it's always some shaky, blurry image. It's a bunch of bullshit. There's no Sasquatch. Christ, they can read a license plate now from outer space, and nobody's got any live video of Sasquatch? Then you got to be a fucking kook to believe this. Oh yeah, I just got a video of a king snake the other day, and I was up in Athens. Yeah, I'm the same way, Pug. I'm the same way. I do think that human bodies have evolved to eat meat. If you look at the teeth in your digestive system and your protein requirements. I mean, it's sad, but it's just one of the, requirements for life. These vegetarians, man. I mean, I've met women before, too. All these vegetarians I've met, I mean, they're okay. But I always got in the back of my mind, what's going on here? I mean, I'm sympathetic to animals, particularly things that are not treated very well, but like I uploaded that little video. I went in that hardware store. They have quail, chicken, pheasants, all that shit. And I just feel bad. They're in those cages and stuff. But here I'll go out and get a Chick-fil-A after I, was sympathetic to a chicken in a cage. This doesn't make sense. I try not to think about it. No, that's right, Sonia. Are you meat eating? Yeah, it's high in protein. Although if you look at the AMA and you look at scientific studies, not just some jack-off hillbilly in southeast Kentucky with a shot and a beer. I'm talking about bona fide, proven scientific studies. The AMA recommends, to limit your red meat consumption. Yeah, I try not to think about it. Yeah, I've got a good Bigfoot outfit. I got it down here, actually. It's hotter than a motherfucker in that damn thing. I'd probably have a heat stroke if I got in that thing in the summer down here. I'm not shitting you. Even on a 50-degree day, you get hot in there. And the way the face is set up, it's hard to breathe through it. Meat. Yeah, I like seafood. Yeah, I don't like that jambalaya shit. Crawdads and stuff. I drive around New Orleans. I really do. I hate that whole place. The Mardi Gras, the beads, the whole shebang. They can keep it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I hate seeing them too, but, a day later after I haven't seen one, I'll get a chicken sandwich. The worst one is pigs. I mean, it's a fact that pigs are smarter than dogs. You can't tell me they don't know that something's up when they're getting into this truck going down the highway. Yeah, it is, yeah. That place is a dump. You ever get one of those famous cakes they make down there? Those famous New Orleans cakes, you know what I'm talking about? It's like coffee cake. Yeah, I didn't know about that, JP. I didn't know they were doing that. Yeah, king cake. Yeah, king cake. There's a place down in Greensboro, not far from here, where they sell them. The guy's from New Orleans, and he runs a coffee shop down in Lake Oconee, actually. And he imports them like it's 100 a time. They sell out like in no time. I didn't know if there's a baby Jesus in it. No, I was always careful on the Bigfoot. I never gave you an opportunity to shoot me. Yeah, I eat shrimp and ramen noodles. Somebody was telling me, though, I never looked this up, but that ramen noodles are bad for you. Some waxy thing. I don't know. I get the cheap ones. And I go to the store. You guys probably have them in your grocery stores, too, where you peel off the top. There's some spicy shit, some chili paste, some flavoring, and some, like, freeze-dried vegetables, and then you put it in there with water. I go get a bag of shrimp, and I put shrimp in there, too, and then I dumped about 6 ounces of peanuts in there. It's really good. I think it's good. Full of salt. Yeah, big time. That's true. Yeah, sodium. That's exactly right. Yeah, you're right about that. That's why I take a blood pressure pill. Fuck it. Yeah, full of salt. I mean, I shouldn't eat as much salt as I do, but fuck it. When I get a bilateral pulmonary embolism like my mother did, you can say I told you so. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, growing days, still chicken. Oh, that's cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, it does help with that. I just don't drink a lot of water. I've tried every trick in the book. I just can't do it. Seems like if I'm in a restaurant and it's an ice and they pour it, but I've tried the same thing at home. I even bought a refrigerator that crushed ice in the front. I just can't drink as much as when I'm someplace else. It's weird. I can't figure it out. Yeah, no, it's good, Sonia. It's really good. P.F. Chang's used to have a good Kung Pao chicken, but it sucks, and Kung Pao shrimp. I don't even go there anymore. I finally quit going to P.F. Chang's. Cheap ass, overpriced shit. No, yeah, I don't blame her. It's like somebody with 4th-stage lung cancer. That's not the time to quit smoking. Yeah, good for her. More power to her. I like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, probably turbo pack, yeah. Yeah, I drink my water through beer. That's crazy, isn't it? I do eat the Himalayan pink salt. I eat it. The problem is I can only find it in the coarse, and that doesn't stick to stuff very good, like the fine. Yeah, it's got more trace minerals. Same with sea salt. Yeah, you're right, Sonia. I'm going to do that too. I have books. I haven't read them all, but I've read articles and I've watched some documentaries, and I'm going to try those damn psychedelics too. You fucking A right I am. I mean, here's a guy. I never did any drugs, and I never smoked marijuana. I'm saying I'm better than anybody. I just didn't. It didn't really interest me. But from what I know of psychedelics, fucking A, game on. I'm going to be playing Beatle records backwards and jacking off in a baby diaper to cartoons. Can't wait. Oh, cool. Oh, how was that, Karen? How was that experience, Karen? Yeah, I'm going to. The problem is in these Bible Belt states, man, they'll hang you by your balls for those. You'd be better off robbing a fucking bank and getting caught. This Christian horse shit. Oh, no kidding. Yeah, they do. They say that now they're using them for like people to forget like trauma. It's helping them uh, bury the hatchet. That'd be cool. I'm gonna have a bunch of them when we have the annual yearly chosen one party. Yeah, no, you're right about that, Karen. Yeah, it's true. Oh, thank you, Dave. It's gonna be fun. Oh, wow. I wonder if you shouldn't take them, Pug. Maybe you shouldn't take them then. I think you were there. Yeah, I'd like that. It's crazy, isn't it? Huh. Hang on while I get my third beer. See, this is how you get stung too. One of these fucking bees is lost, and he's sitting on the arm of the chair, and I put my hand on it to get out. Shit like that. Marty filled his diesel truck up with 40 gallons of gas tonight. So we had to get it towed to a place, and he's going to use my truck tomorrow. That's the only way I get anything done at home. I'm actually looking forward to it, because I can't resist going out and fucking off when I should be home doing shit. So I'm going to be without a car tomorrow. I don't really care, because the builder's coming over to walk through the house to make sure everything's where I thought it would be. That's the kind of shit I got to do to like get anything done. Just not have a car. Yeah, I'll get an abortion. I don't have a problem with abortion. I'm all for it. That's more of that crazy Christian shit. They think that life starts at the moment of conception. Fucking nuts. I mean, if these right-wing crazy Christians had their way, they'd make jacking off a felony. Anything that's fun or you enjoy, if you're not married, it's a crime. Fuck that. I think it's a woman right. Yeah, it's exactly what he did. A fucking BP gas station. Fuck yeah, it's exactly what he did. I picked him up the fucking BP. You know, on those fucking F-250s, you can't snake that fucking hose down there far enough to siphon it out. I'm already blind. I'm already blind. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, see, I don't think it's a double murder. I know they charge you for that shit, which I think's a stretch. Yeah, I kind of get that, but I don't. I'll tell you, it's not scientifically based. I mean, they legislated it, which is all these right-wing Christian kooks that vote for this shit and make it a law. But I don't buy it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the laws are predicated on morality, not science. I mean, I don't think you should intentionally do it, but like accidents happen. You know, and it's not a happy story on kids that are born that could have been aborted. If you look at crime statistics when abortion was approved, they went through huge drops in crime because you didn't have all these fucking heathens out there that people didn't intentionally, plan on. Yeah, I don't believe that sin bullshit either. I think it's all just human behavior. And it's all natural, like villainizing, like nudity and premarital sex. Fucking people are nuts. Yeah, it's not a sin, man. It's human nature. It's hedonism. You're pleasure seeking. Orgasms, alcohol, feeling good. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the same way. Yeah, I don't buy it. Everywhere. I've been everywhere. I don't believe it. My religion is if it feels good, do it. Yeah, let's talk about abortion. I don't think it's not a viable human fetus. I don't think life begins at conception. I think it's like when you're about like a baby born out of a birth, then we're talking murder. But you got all these like these people that are, they create these, they show this baby and they're singing songs and shit. He's 3 days old. I just don't buy it. I don't think that's like life in a legal sense. No, it's not. I don't know. It's not a conception. Sounds like you were raised as a Christian. No way. No way it is. It's not a viable form of life. You can usually set people up to, like, okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I don't know. If you knew of a woman that was raped by a guy, should the baby still be allowed to go for full term and birth? It's a woman's issue, true. No, right, JP, yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's like life. It's just like the most, stretched out version of a theory in the world, and it's just the way that it's flown because of this biblical bullshit all these years. Yeah, but if the result's of a crime and she aborts it, then don't tell me it's the life of the baby. Because of the issue is whether or not life occurs at conception, then it shouldn't matter how it was conceived, whether it was a rape or whether it wasn't. That shouldn't have anything to do with it. If the arguments, whether or not it's murder, the circumstances shouldn't matter. But once again, that's that right-wing Christian crazy shit making these decisions. No, I just think it's a fantasy people have about these children being born that weren't planned on. And if you look at statistics, it was a fucking disaster. You guys are thinking they're going to be like adopted and go to Ozzie and Harriet. It doesn't work that way. Now, I would agree that I don't think that abortion should be used as a form of birth control, but I don't have a problem with it. Good, you should, man. I'd never get elected, though, because there's no way a non-Christian is going to get elected. I mean, there's a few Jews in there, but even they dance a tight wire on abortion issues. That's a real hot potato. Like the death penalty. You have to lie your fucking ass off if you want to really get in office. Even Trump, he's fucked every two-bit horror in the world in every country you could think of. And he's, look at his attitude on things. No, let's do it, I don't know. Don't be chicking out. I mean, you got the real world and you got the philosophical world. I mean, I will tell you this. Believe I'm a living example. And my sister and I both. I think if abortion would have been around, I wouldn't be talking to you. Oh, have you ought to know. That's my girl. Yeah, accidents happened. Oh, good for you, I don't know. I'd run for Congress. There's not enough people to vote for me, though. Because you got the people that really believe it, the people that believe it, but they'd never vote for it. And the people just think you're nuts. They think you're murdering babies. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I think she would be. And if you look at potential life, what about all that sperm that I'm wasting? I mean, that's halfway there. Am I 50% guilty? How about unfertilized eggs through menstruation? I mean, why don't they make that a fucking crime too? I'm telling you, if these religious people could, they would. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Oh, okay. I just have a hard time believing that. I mean, we're killing baby every fucking thing. Ducks, chickens, turtles, fish, foie gras. And all of a sudden with the human, it's a murder. I call bullshit. I don't know. No, I know you are. I don't know. Yeah, it's not at conception. Definitely is not. I agree with you. If I got a girl pregnant and I'd dig that motherfucker out of there myself. I never got, one girl said I got her pregnant. I don't believe it. I don't, I think she was making shit up. I don't believe it. There's no real proof of it. Let's put it that way. But I think I was jacking off so much ever since I started that my sperm count was so low. I think that's what saved me. And it wasn't like I was having orgasms and women I was having intercourse with. And I tried to avoid intercourse anyway. So I lowered the risk as much as I could. I think that's my secret to success. A low sperm count. Not getting into intercourse. Getting out of it every time I could. And pulling out and giving a big cum facial. Oh, thank you, Aletha. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, look at these people getting dogs euthanized because they're too old or they don't take them where they move to. I mean, give me a fucking break. Yeah, and like I said, it's generally, there are good studies on kids that could have been aborted that weren't. It's a fucking disaster life, like they're a detriment to society. Just the dregs of society. It costs taxpayers a fortune. It's crazy. I mean, we got to talk, get real. No, yeah, thank you, Sonia. No, this is the hypocrisy of a human being. The death penalty, too. You know, there's two schools of thought on that. Yeah. I mean, look, any of us, depending on either side we take, we could all be wrong. Who knows? Judgment Day, I don't really believe that. I think when it's tits up and I stroked out, beaten off for the 10th millionth time to Pornhub, I don't think I'm going anywhere other than the fucking ground. And I hope I can. I'm sure this won't happen, but I like the idea of it while I'm alive. It's like why people choose a mausoleum. I wish they'd just throw me out and let the vultures eat me. I would be so proud to go just get back in the cycle of life. Thank you, Frisky. Yeah, 2 abortions. I'll tell you, I don't know. I think that's really cool. That daughter took that $5,000 loan out. What a good person. That is really a super nice gesture for a once in a lifetime memory. That'll last right up until the 18-year-old realize what a fraud Taylor Swift is, but it'll get you 20 or 25 years, which is cheap for $5,000. Should I pay? I'd pay $5,000 for any happy feeling that would last 25 years. I think it'd be a deal. Right. All right. So yeah, none anybody's business. So on that note, none anybody's business. How about this? Legalize prostitution. Do you have a problem with that? This is another one of these crazy moral arguments. Does anybody have a problem with legalized prostitution? Illegal. I mean, it's happening anyway. This is what they finally figured out with marijuana. It's not anybody's business. That's right. Yeah. Health checks. But Pug, you stand just as good a chance of getting a sexually transmitted disease dating as you do at a whorehouse. They're not making them get health checks. Legalize it. Yeah. Yeah, legalize it. Anything beats begging for it. Yeah, thank you, Sonia. Yeah, voluntarily. Oh, were you really, Karen? Honestly, you seriously, you really were a working girl. God bless you. Hey, Karen, I want to ask you, as a working girl, do you think being a working girl for years affected your sex life in any way after you didn't do it any longer? Oh, that's awesome. You know, when I was young and stupid and didn't know anything and didn't realize how the world worked, I would have never got involved with somebody that did that. But now that I'm older and smart and understand things, I could care less if a girl was a working girl. Good for you. Now, Karen, do you have any guilt over that? I mean, don't. I'm not asking that from because I think you should. I'm just wondering, with this society, did it ever bother you or not? Oh, that is so awesome. Yeah, but marriage is already in the tank, Prisky. If you look at the stats, it was better. That a girl. Oh, good for you. Now, hey, Karen, when you were involved with men in your post-prostitution days, was it something you discussed openly, or did you always just keep it to yourself? Oh, good. Oh, that's great. Yeah, you better believe it. It's funny you should say that, Frisky. I was having conversations with a couple of the Indian guys that work at that Indian restaurant I eat at in Augusta, and they say that the Western world is fucked up. India is so bad. It's turning out just like the United States, and we didn't need to talk about that any further. I knew exactly what he meant. Oh, you were very open. And now, Karen? I'm just curious about this. This interests me. How did it fly with the males you met? Did you felt that just open disclosure was necessary? Why didn't you just not say it because it was none of their business? Or how'd that fly in the real world, though, of relationships post prostitution? Oh, cool. No, what is that, Chris? What is that? That's great, Karen. Working girl. That's awesome. Half it. Yeah, it might be a good thing, yeah. Yeah, I think Frisky's got a good argument for that, though, with regard to marriage. Yeah, me too. Well, that's what I tell you. I get some of these damn stalkers that come on here and fuck with me when we have these chats. And, it pisses me off because they criticize Maddie and Becky and all these other people that that I know through interviews. And I get pissed and I say, hey, you've been sucking them for free your whole fucking life. And you're criticizing Maddie. I mean, there's a huge hole in your story. Yeah, you're right, Sonia. Yeah, no, Becky's not my type, to tell you the truth. No, yeah, well put, man. Bingo. Kindred spirits, Carrot. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, that's the same way I am. Greatest comeback ever. It's true. That's awesome. And I know it sounds stupid, but I mean, guys don't have anything to sell. Yeah, greatest comeback ever. You know, it's funny you should say that about Becky. I remember we were eating at that damn restaurant down there. Starts with an A, Audie's on Michigan Avenue. And, you know, I just never would have done that. I wouldn't have cared even if I was like attracted to someone. I don't know why. I can't really articulate it. I was down there interviewing and, you know, that never really crossed my mind. And when we were eating breakfast one morning, I said to her, hey, I hope you don't ever think. She said, hey, stop right there. Don't say another word. She said, if you don't think I figured that out a long time ago, there's something wrong with you. Let's not waste time talking about this fucking horse shit. We're friends. We got a relationship. It's fucking stupid. No, I never thought that. And I never got that vibe from you. And that was the end of the conversation. I didn't say anything. Yeah, right. Oh, that's awesome, Karen. Yeah, no, Becky's a sharp person, actually. She could have done a lot of things, but I mean, it's a moot point, I know. But you're not bullshitting these people. Raven said the same thing to me before. Oh, yeah, it was super fun, man. I'm going to get back to it. You know, the problem is, and even in Detroit, for a guy like me, first of all, YouTube hates it. You know, nobody knows you're doing them anymore. And they'll do whatever they can to keep you from doing interviews like that, especially when it comes into talking about drugs. But like down on where I go, I'm telling you that Washington Street, where I go down there in Augusta, it's just good or better. But the working girls are working off their cell phones now. They're not out there fucking walking up and down Washington Street. So, you know, I don't have a chance to run into them like I used to. Yeah, right. I agree with that, Hey Pug. Yeah, it's true. I mean, there were parts of Becky I liked, and then it's just the drugs take over, as you know. And I just don't want these dead end goddamn contacts that go nowhere. I've always told everybody from day one, including the guy the other day that isn't a prostitute with the missing hands. Look, if you guys need help, I'd always linked people's channel to mine. Never once did I try to get people to go through me. All of them. Sharon, Becky, whoever, Tassie, always encouraged them. Maddie, get your own channel. Do your own thing. Don't go through me. I'm willing to help you do it. Take the pictures, whatever. Yo, I did too. Yeah, hey, believe me, I learned just like you did by asking the questions. Yeah, I really like Becky, but it was just like, Becky, what I didn't like about Becky is it wasn't necessary for you to lie to me. And, she jacked me off about, helping her start a channel and was it going to be named with an uppercase B or a lowercase. And I just got fucking tired of it. She'd have just said, hey, now fuck a channel. I don't want one. This is what I'm doing. I'd probably still be talking to her. Yeah, same fucking thing. Yeah, still there. Living in a trailer in the back of a guy's house in Detroit. Her and a boyfriend both on heroin. It just goes to show you how resilient the human body can be. No hygiene, poor nutrition, fentanyl all over the fucking place. Fucking like 10,000 guys and still alive. Yeah, I know who you're talking. What was that girl's name? What was that girl's name? Looked like Julia Roberts. She's back down there, by the way. She's back there again. Yeah, it got a lot of views too. What was that girl's name? Looked like Julia Roberts, kinda. She was from Downriver, Taylor. I think I'm getting fucking dementia. What was her name? Yeah, I can't remember it either. Yep, she's back down there. What was her fucking name? That'll drive me nuts. His name was Casey. Was it Joanna? His name was Casey. I remember that. Why can't I remember hers? Jana. Yeah, thank you. Jana. That's what it was. Jana. Yeah, Jana. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, back down there. Raven was a sweetheart, man. Just fucked by her stepdad, her foster parents, and every other motherfucker that had a dick she ran into in her life. She was doing fine and not on heroin as a topless dancer until she got in an accident and lost her front teeth. Yeah, Jana. Yep, that's who it is. Yep, Jana. She's back down there again. Yeah, Raven just had like great genes, like, Scandinavian look, perfect body. I'll tell you a funny thing with Raven one time. While I was down there, I would like do interviews and I'd do like photography, the houses and stuff like that. And I was like probably 2 miles away from the stroll, cutting down through this alley. The alleys were cool. They were all dilapidated. It just looked like the blight that I liked to photograph. And I'm driving through the alley, and here's a pickup truck. And I'm driving up, and just as I'm driving slow because there's shit laying all over, broken bottles and stuff. And the window comes down, and it's Raven blowing a guy in the pickup. And she said, "Hey, Tom, how you doing?" She said, "I'll be down on the stroll in about an hour." The window went back up, and I just kept on going. I mean, I will never forget that. Yeah, but just like a killer body, never worked out, great hairline, nice eyes, just a attractive person naturally. She didn't need to go to a gym. There's a part when these people just give up down there. They just quit. And it's hard to say when that is. They don't even know, so how in the hell would I know? But that happened to her along the way, and I think it happened before she started prostitution. But there gets to be a point where that's your moneymaker between your legs and giving blowjobs. And once you go that way, it's just like cutting grass. Oh, that was Penny. Yeah, that was one of the first people. That was when Detroit was really at rock bottom. Penny. Yeah, she was a nice lady. She got her head bashed in for a $10 debt. Hey, hip to my trip. But that's what happens down there. I mean, the people getting taken out. It's a terrible, miserable life. I'm telling you, there's nothing worse that I know of. I mean, there probably are, as far as a female, being a working girl strung out on heroin and homeless. It's a shit life. It's an hour sleep here, 2 hours sleep there in a bando. Ebony's back down there too. Yeah, it's constant 24/7 chaos. Yeah, she's a con artist. Con artist. Sharon, you pigeonhole things in your mind so that you feel comfortable. If somebody like Maddie's out getting $10 for a blowjob, Sharon's riding a big black cock, getting her dope bill reduced every time she does it. She doesn't consider that a form of prostitution. Yeah, she was, Sonia. That's right. Good memory. Tassie's just a meth user. Her mother died of a heroin overdose and it scared her. Didn't do much crack, occasionally. Just a fucking mess. I mean, if I had to give you my non-scientific opinion, I think she just fried her brain with drugs. If you Google working girls of Detroit, prostitutes of Detroit, you'll see photos of a guy named, I think his name's Dave Jordan, something like that. A guy that was doing photographs of Tassie when she was down there sucking cocks at 15. If I had to guess, I'm not sure what she was like, young and drug-free, but there may have been something going on ahead of time, and I think it was just exacerbated by constant drug use, but I don't think she's playing with a full deck. I think there's psychiatric issues there, unrelated to her lifestyle and drug use, but I don't know that for sure. Oh, it's a shitty fucking life, man. It really is. That's why, I mean, when you give up like that, you're in that situation, you can understand someone rolling the dice. If I get up, fine. If I don't, fine. That's where Maddie's at right now. Maddie's not going to be around much longer. And, she didn't abandon her kid. She did the right thing with her kid. She got the fuck away from them. The same thing that Becky did. Their kids are better without them in their lives. You can prove it any way you want. And, who knows what comes along with that when you look at that bond between mother and child, and you swallow that pill and you do what you do. And Maddie was an attractive girl, smart, sweet, and God knows what health problems she has, but I would be shocked if she's around much longer than a year. There's nothing you're going to do about it. Hey, Satellite Man, how you doing? Yeah, I agree with that, Natasha. Yeah, I mean, and these people, if somebody doesn't like you, I mean, as you guys know, I have my share of enemies on YouTube. I mean, first of all, I don't give money with strings attached, and secondly, when I'm down there and there's working girls and they're got a $200 or $300 heroin bill a day, and I'm giving them $10 and I'm supposed to feel guilty if that's the $10. It's just this fucking philosophical fucking horse shit. I mean, it's the odds of winning the fucking Mega Millions that my $10 is going to end their life. First of all, I didn't give them $10 for heroin. And they say, well, what happened if you knew that the $10 you gave them, they overdose? I'd sleep like a fucking baby. Because the notion that $10 would cause this, and it's my fault, they were working girls with drug addiction way before I met them. And they're still doing it way after I've left. It's not my fault. Yeah, you're right about that, Natasha. They choose to do drugs. Yeah, but I mean, I think addiction is way more complicated than that. I really do. Hey, Karen, I gotta ask you this question. Now, you may not be able to have the answer, and I'm not necessarily asking it from a personal perspective, but I've said all along. I mean, I've been around. I'm an older guy, and I don't think because women would be doing sex for hire, I don't necessarily think that makes them great performers. Does that seem believable to you or not? Yeah, thank you, hip to my trip. Exactly right. Yeah, it'll numb you. And lots of these people were molested, abused. God knows what happened to them. Yeah, it's way more complicated than just a choice. That's exactly it, Alethea. Yeah, okay, yeah, thanks. Yep. Karen, would you say you ever had any guilt or not? Did you ever have any guilt? Yeah, way more complicated. I agree. I mean, look, it's unfortunate, but the world, there's no shortage of unfortunate events. Whether it's people getting hit on motorcycles that were on their first time they rode one, to heroin addicted prostitutes that are dying in bandos alone. This is how the world works, not how we like it. This sucks, man. I mean, the older I get, the more experience I have. I'm really kind of leaning towards you're you're you're. It's just like the difference between a honeybee and a frog. That you're given this deck of cards when you're born, and your life's going to basically turn out a certain way. Now you're going to be able to sell stories that you studied hard and you worked hard and you didn't do drugs, but I think it's kind of all in your DNA from day one. Your choices, your behavior, who your parents were, and of course influences like your upbringing, your life experiences. But I just think the changes that people get credit for and TV shows boast about are subtle, and you don't have as much control of them as they'd like to make you think you do. Right, Chris, that's it. Yeah, stuff like that, Natasha. That's exactly right. But I think that was just in the cards for that guy. Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah, they didn't want it. They didn't want it. And if you listen to a lot of those interviews, they like the excitement of the lifestyle. I mean, it's just like women liking bad guys, and bad guys liking bad, or good guys liking bad women. I mean, God knows. I mean, it's too complicated. Who knows? I mean, I think nature has a hell of a lot more to do with it than nurture. I mean, look at fucking Jeffrey Dahmer's parents, Jim Morrison's parents. They're great people, nice, moral, decent families. But this genetic quirk made these people seek this behavior unrelated to where they got their DNA. It skips around. Everybody isn't just exactly like your mom and dad. Oh, really, Karen? Oh, okay. No, no, I would not agree with that. No, I wouldn't agree with it. I think the environment can work for you or against you, that it's subtle. That the main crux of the whole fucking ball of wax is no different than how much you weigh and how tall you grow and what color your eyes are. It's in your fucking genes. Jeffrey Dahmer's parents are a perfect example. I don't know the majority, but I know it's not unusual. And good parents, right? What is that? You know what I mean? Total phonies and you didn't know any better? People that made you brush your teeth every night? I mean, A moving target. Well, if you're the outcast, I don't know, what are the other sisters like? Yeah, desperate times call for desperate measures. Look at the Unabomber. The Unabomber's parents were great. So were his siblings. Ted Kaczynski. Where'd we lose you, hey Pug? Oh, no kidding. How old were you then when she told you that, Karen? But here's the thing, Karen. I don't understand the difference between, as an example, not literal, but you going out and blowing guys at $100 a pop, and mom blowing guys for free. I mean, where's this line? Is it squiggly? Is it straight? Is it bell-shaped? I mean, if you go out and you wine and dine somebody, not literally, you go out and you have a good time, you get blown, and the dinner was $300, and you don't take anybody out to dinner, and you go in an alley and you get blown, it was $100. What's the difference other than you save $200? Pop a mushroom, Pug. I mean, it is all over the place. I mean, we're going back and forth. We're not saying Ozzie and Harriet's the way to go. And after all, that was a TV show. I mean, for all we know, Ozzie fucked Harriet in the ass before every show. We'll never know. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a market for this idea that it isn't a market to where, people are criticized, let's say promiscuity, but, you're going to put, Ozzie and Harriet up high. Why? Because, Harriet was a virgin and Ozzie never fucked a hooker on his day off. I mean, this whole false fucking bullshit. Oh, that's good, Carrot. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not going to do that safe buddy shit. Fuck that. I read about that too. I don't know what's the worst thing that can happen. I'm not doing that safe buddy shit. Fuck it. Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I think it is. I mean, I think it's just like being retarded. Same shit, only it's manifested in behavior, not physical attributes and an extra copy of chromosome 13 or 23. 23. Extra pair of chromosomes 23. Yeah, let me have it, Natasha. Bring it on, babe. No, thank you, Karen. Yeah, good. I just had someone that you guys know in the chat. I'm not going to tell you who. She said if she knew what kind of a gold mine she had between her legs in her 20s, her life would have turned out entirely different. And there's an argument for not giving it away. Thank you, Karen. Karen, what do you think you get for a blowjob nowadays? Just asking. Bring it on, Natasha. No, he did not do it. Absolutely did not do it. He did not. No. He got railroaded by that fucking psycho, fucking crazy California prosecutor. Troublemaking lying prick. No, he did not. The worst thing that anybody testified to was that he did a somersault one time while the kids were sleeping on the heart-shaped bed and somebody saw his nuts. That's not being a pedophile. There were no blowjobs, no butt fucking, no hand jobs. Absolute nonsense. He was totally framed, and that's a perfect example of the system working. When it was presented to a jury, he was acquitted. No, absolute nonsense. The evidence was nothing. It was that crazy fucking Mexican gold digging bitch trying to get a settlement. That happens, ought to know. It happens to people. Yeah, that shows you. This happens to prosecutors all the time. They catch these motherfuckers not disclosing everything, and that's why these guys are getting off like death row and shit. Lying prosecutors. I mean, there are good prosecutors out there too, but there's some out there that are not. Look at when that girl over at, where was it, like Princeton or one of those places, on those campus rapes. He falsified a bunch of shit, didn't disclose a lot of stuff to the defense. You know, watch his forensic files. I mean, they're always finding shit these fucking prosecutors are hiding, lying about. No, I get it. I get it. It can happen to anybody. It really can. It's just, and sometimes just, you know, shit happens. I mean, it's crazy. You go back and you're trying to figure out what caused it. And it's just was in the cards. I mean, doors opening and doors shutting. It's just like, you know, what was that show where you'd pick the doors? I think it was Monty Hall, wasn't it? You just never know. I mean, it's timing's huge. Yeah, slings and arrows. That's it. That's exactly right. Yeah, I just think it's doors opening and closing. It's like, you know, right time, right place. That's the truth. Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad he had to go through that bullshit. It just goes to show you the cost of being famous. His dad was a fucking prick, too. I think he was like the male version of Raven in a way with regards to being treated by males in their lifetime. Yeah, Joe Jackson, I think was his name. Fucking prick. Yeah, never talk to the police, that's for sure. That remain silent's huge. That's better than any lawyer you'll ever hire. Oh, yeah, well, I agree. I would agree it's worth more, Karen. Although good blowjobs, yeah, it wouldn't matter if you had teeth or not. Yeah, no, it's true. Those opportunities, yeah, choices you made. And it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're in that debacle now that it was a bad choice back then. That's how life is. Oh, that's awesome, Karen. Just remember, fucking's what got us all here. whether it was out of love or somebody was paying for it. You gotta at least give it that. Yeah. Hard to believe sometimes, isn't it? Almost everybody, when you say something like that, says, I try not to think about it. Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, and the society is going to progress, even if it's accidental, whether it's rubbers breaking or alcohol. That people are going to be born no matter what, whether it's planned, not planned, fertility clinics, not pulling out in time, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think he did mention that, Natasha. No, I appreciate it, Karen. Karen, has your truthfulness ever got you in trouble or cost you anything? Yeah, always going to be babies. That's it. Would you really, Mark? Wow, that's some research. Yeah, I didn't see that in time. No, it shouldn't be better without teeth. Not if you know how to give head. Shouldn't matter if you had teeth or not. I mean, to somebody that didn't have many blowjobs, they'd probably think that matters, but it shouldn't. Yeah, that's it, man. It's true. You know what's cool? These damn bugs, man. They just quit doing this as soon as there's the slightest sign of light coming up. Well, this is fun. I don't know. Glad to see you. Thank you. You party on. Hang in there. Hope your financial problems improve. We really party late. See those stars out there? What the fuck is that? It's a little overcast. You party on, outlaw. I don't know. That shine, you see, that's coming off a honey jar. It's not a moon. No, it's off a honey jar. Does anybody out there know why these bugs do this all night? I mean, I can understand doing it for a while, let the other bug know where you're at. But why would they do this all night long? Yeah, right. I wonder why. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be some reason for it. I guess they sleep all day. Yeah, that could be. Huh. I can hear the bees over there buzzing now. Yeah, there's different arguments about that. They say they sleep in shifts. I don't know about that. I've seen some like infrared cameras in hives at night, and fuck, didn't look like any were sleeping to me. I mean, some of these beekeeping people are so full of shit. But I'll tell you what I have noticed. I've noticed like sometimes I'll leave the porch light on accidentally, and there'll be bees flying around the light bulb, and then I'll turn it off and come out here and like look with my phone where it's a real like light, low lit light, and they're all just stuck to the side of the house, not moving at all. They're not fanning, and it looks like they're sleeping. And if I had to guess, and this may be all wrong, when the sun comes up, they, go back to the hive and start their bullshit all over again. But at least those bees that are away from the hive, maybe they just get still so they don't get eaten. But it looks to me like they're sleeping. So whether they do or whether they don't, I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, these people are so full of shit that write some of these books. Yes, other thing. Yeah, you're right, Natasha. Yeah. Daisy sleeping with Marty. Daisy goes crazy when she sees Marty. I went to Madison today, and he was in Madison, and he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm over at Lowe's fucking around looking for some bullshit." He said, "You mind if I stopped by and saw Daisy?" And Daisy recognized his pickup pulling in. She starts going crazy when she sees him. What part, Karen? What part? Yeah, I think so too, yeah. I think it is too. Yeah, I should have, but I didn't know when he was going to get there exactly. She really likes Marty, big time. Yeah, he's a good dog. Oh, cool. No kidding, huh? Did you work when you were there, Karen? Yeah, she does. They get along good. Sleep together. Don't fight. Oh, are you really? What town, Satellite Man? Oh, cool, Karen. Oh, cool, Satellite Man. Oh, good. Did you make good money doing that, Karen? They were heading back to Atlanta, yeah. They were two of them were iffy about an interview, and the other three were cool. That's why it was kind of like not a real interview. And if somebody doesn't want to do one, I don't push it. Yeah, they're riding those fucking motorcycles in Atlanta. It's amazing any of them are still alive. I mean, that's just like that. I couldn't find a worse place in the world to ride a motorcycle. It's crazy. They got to be the luckiest women that ever lived. Oh, cool, Letha. Oh, good for you. Kara, do you work at all now, or are you retired totally? Oh, okay. Good luck with everything. Oh, cool. Oh, okay. No, I think so too, Sonia. I like it too. Yeah, all night long. I love it. Wow, Karen. Yeah, I think so too, Sonia. I think you'd like bees too if you like that kind of thing. I mean, like here, like there's a certain time where, I'll put honey out for the bees, and you can sit in a chair like I'm doing right now, and I'm further down, and there'll be like 10,000 bees just swarming around, like landing on you, flying around. It's loud, and it's so fun to do. They're just walking around and just like doing their thing, and it's like, they can sting you, and they don't, and it's just a good feeling. There's a possum or a raccoon out there growling at something else now. I'll turn the light on. See his eyes out there near the pole? Two up there. See the two sets of eyes? One on the left and one on the right. That's the pole. They're fighting. Yeah, I haven't had as many hummingbirds. Can you see those two sets of eyes? See those eyes? Two sets of eyes. See, that's a bee flying around the light. See those eyeballs? No, they're not. We don't have too many of them here either. Yeah, they're fighting, whatever it is. I think it's a raccoon and a possum. Yeah, you can hear them growling at each other. You hear that bee flying around? It's because I turned that light on. It's crazy, isn't it? It's interesting how all this stuff just hangs out at night and they eat. They do get in arguments, like they snap at each other and growl like they're doing now. But when I did those trail cams over the winter with hams and different stuff like that, it's crazy the amount of animals out there all eating together. But all of them had one thing in common, and that is they stay the hell away from humans. And that's just canned in them. They're not afraid of other animals, but they make sure they stay the hell away from human beings. If I walk down there right now, they'll both take off. Why? It's just evolved that way. Yeah, did you hear him, Karen? Yeah. He saw the light on the phone. You'll see sometimes in videos where they'll have like the bee beard, where they got bees all over like a guy's face. That's a pheromone they spray on your skin. And it's just like honey, like I'll put it on my hand or something. Marty likes doing it. I mean, I've done it. It doesn't really do that much. It's kind of cool. if you don't know anything about bees and you see somebody do that, you're just like, wow, it's so crazy. But, I've done that like a million times. It's kind of boring to me now. But the bees in that state of mind, no, there's no threat. They have a food source. You don't meet any of the triggers that get them to send this chemical message to attack. They're just walking around you just like if they were ants or something. Yeah, right. It's weird. Yeah, right. I'm a little. I saw that king snake the other day. It's the first snake I've seen since I've lived down here. Alive. Saw some dead ones in the road. Just so snakes are so beautiful. I'm not into them, but I'm respectful of them. And I know the important role they play in nature. But like these copperheads we have down there, it's the #1 biter in the United States. But the venom only affects red blood cells, where it's a neurotoxin in the eastern back rattler and the timber rattler. So not only is it starting to destroy your system and dissolve your tissues, it makes you where you're not going to be able to walk. Big difference. I mean, I'm sure at my age, if I got nailed in the right spot by a timber rattler back near the pond and I was walking, or an eastern diamondback rattler, I probably wouldn't make it. I'd never make it all the way back to the house. And by the time an ambulance would get here. Oh, what happened on that, Karen? Copperhead bites aren't that big a deal. They're really not. I mean, you'd still go to the hospital, but it's not like getting nailed by a timber rattler or an eastern diamondback rattler. Totally different way of venom works and affects your system. What do? Step on it, Karen? You step on it? Yeah, I haven't. I look for them, too. I look for them. There's a lot of variables. How old you are, where it gets you, how much venom it injects. A lot of snake bites are dry bites. They're just biting you to get you the hell out of there. It is so fast you can't even see it. I mean, they strike you and inject that venom so quickly, you wouldn't realize you were bit until you started feeling weird. You felt pain. It's that fast. Oh, okay, Karen. There was one out here about a month ago. The guy that stayed here while we were out of town took a picture of it. Beautiful. Probably a 3-year-old. Right around there, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wow. It's crazy, these king snakes, that little video I uploaded last week. They crawl around killing these poisonous snakes. Oh, wow, Karen. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to go to beddy bye. Brush my teeth, go to 99. Good chat. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it, Karen. Pug, Natasha, Alethea, Frisky, Beaupont, Satellite Man, Selenia, Karen. You have a good night tonight. Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, that's true, Mark, yeah. That's why if you can't get what bit you, you're fucked. You gotta just take the shots anyway. They're not as painful as they used to be, though. Good night, Alethea. Pug, you have a good night. You party on. I know what you meant. These animals are fighting out there. Arguing. See him right near that pole. Two sets of eyes. Good night, you guys. See him looking at me? Cute. That's their retina, by the way, which is why they see so well at night. All right, Mark, you have a good night. Take it easy. You party on.